What's up YouTube? Today we're going to look at another retro classic nitro competition buggy, and this is an Inferno MP7.5. This is quite a nice example of one. Nice custom period paintwork on the body shell. People love that wet paint glooping over the front look, and we've got a bit of a fade turquoise blue to green. Little drop for you. Oh, it's beautiful, that suspension setup on this. Lovely. Right, let's get the basics. Gonna measure it. Sorry, that's not all on camera, but that is exactly 330 on the wheelbase and 300 on the track, which is your standard competition dimensions. Let's get a weight for it. It's 3.036. Maybe with the body shell off. Got a repair on this body shell. Common. Few splits from use. Probably had some heat tape previously there. Right, let's have a look at it. What engine have we got? We've got an OS Max RZ. Interesting. And that seems to have a turbo port on the back plate. See that pipe gut running round? If anyone's got any experience of this engine, let us know. Was it a good one? It is an OS Max, so it's probably decent. And it looks hardly used, the top of it. An OS heavy duty air cleaner, making quite a good pop, so imagine that's in good nick. And then, can you see that? KYOSHO Femca 512. I've not seen a KYOSHO tune pipe before, but there you have it. Seemed quite thick and heavy duty. And not sure what's gone on there, but that actually looks like it's been cut and shut and welded, and there's a different aluminium front part on that. So maybe that was repaired or shortened, or maybe that had something done to it. Maybe that's what people did to race them back in the day. If you know in the comments, please let us know. Now, when I was looking into this model, I noticed having the gold anodised pieces, shock towers, steering plate and front brace was not common at all, but I couldn't find out which edition they pertain to. So if anyone knows in the comments, please let me know which edition it was that had the gold pieces. The shocks are all alloy, but without threaded collars. But as you saw in the drop test, these are very nicely performing shocks. Let me just move the scale. So by this era in Rallycross, we do have this conventional layout, which is the engine in the back left, the central drivetrain running relatively central, differential in the middle with front and rear bias, so set of disc brakes there, set of disc brakes under here, and you can adjust these linkages with so which one engages first, so you can have it so the front set engages a bit earlier than the back set, giving you that front loading bias. Normally people would have front loading bias, but if you just wanted to have a bit of a handbrake effect, you could have it rear loading, so when you hit the brakes, you know, the back sort of locked up and skidded round. We've got double wishbone suspension. This is the sort of level of articulation you got. All the way up like that. Very smooth, quite a linear angle on the shock, so it's basically a linear suspension rate, but there are different holes for you to set your shock position, front and top and bottom, so you can adjust the progressiveness of that rate a bit. You've got a front anti-roll bar with adjustable links, so you can move those in and out a bit to get a bit more stiffness. You have universal drive shafts with a universal joint on them. Double bell crank suspension, and quite beefed up compared to the earlier models. This is the sort of lock you've got, which is quite good, but as you can see, modern Rallycross buggies do have more than that. Quite a large fuel tank to get you through the race. Then moving to the, let me just show you that front diff working. So on this setup, that was quite light, quite a light oil he had in this. Let's go to the back diff. That's actually a bit heavier, but still very light. On the back end, you have got double wishbone suspension again, adjustable anti-roll bar, quite a few different shock positions, 2 on the bottom, and this seems to be a lot more travel on the back. Obviously your chassis is going to hit the ground first, but that's significantly more than the front. Let's have a look underneath it. Hasn't been used too much, this. You've got a little relief for the diff, front and rear. Good access to your flywheel here, and a small relief for your central spur gear. Turn it round, let's have a look at this side. That's your radio tray with 2 servos vertically mounted. I think KYOSHO really stuck with this layout for the ease of working on it. And that's one of the major trade-offs with developing a racing vehicle, not just in RC but in any format, is do you optimize every position for the ultimate lowest center of gravity and weight distribution, say like an F1 car where just everything will be moved as low and as light as possible? Or do you keep things accessible so that you can keep racing? So the vertical servo layout, they're standing upright, whereas they could be laid down flat. Any engineer would know that would be lower and easier, not easier, that would be lower and better for the center of gravity. But obviously having them on top, and then the one radio tray that you can remove to remove them both, maybe swap in another one or change servos, is what's going to get you through a race meeting more robustly than possibly the advantage given there. And that's one of the layouts methods that KYOSHO led the way in. We looked at another buggy last week a Mugen Supersport where they had played around with the layout for obvious reasons and different outcomes, but KYOSHO really made this the layout that was carried forward as the one that kept you racing, even though it's not necessarily the most optimized engineering layout. There's a big radio box here for those old school NiCad packs, but I do like a large radio box like that. It makes it easy to, again, just if you need to change or deal with those items, it's straightforward with a large enclosed box rather than really specifically designed boxes. Switch here. You've got these turnbuckle type braces going down to the chassis diagonally. I don't think they're that effective because of the joint at the end. You still have a lot of movement if you really bend your chassis. And you can see that on video. Let me just bend that. You can see me really flex those front and rear towers in, and those braces are not really bracing. Whereas if they were CNC and rigid, they would brace a lot more. On the other hand, you might want some flex in your setup. That would be normal. Let's look. See the OS engine from the other side. $17mm wheel nuts now, and some turbo rat tyres. Gotta love that name, having any turbo rats. So there you have it. Let's do another little drop to end off the video. Oh, lovely. If you had one of these or raced one of these, let me know how it went. If you got any specific information on the engine or pipe or the gold anodized pieces, let me know. Is this period correct? Is it a special edition? Let's try and compile that data in the comments, and therefore anyone having a look at the video can benefit from everyone's experience. Thanks a lot. Like and subscribe, and keep coming back for more looks at retro RCs.